Hello, viewers, and welcome to Reminiscences. Our guest today is Alhaji Shehu Malami, the Sarkin Sudan of Wurno, a Sokoto prince who has spent a lot of his time actually in England and then has subsequently been a top-notch businessman and a diplomat. Sir, I'd like to welcome you to the program.
Thank you very much.
And I think it's fair to say you started life with a kind of golden spoon. Would that be a right description? You are from the royal family. Your father is the brother of the Sultan. So in that sense, you are part of the Sokoto elite, even from the beginning.
Like you are part of the Katsina elite. Yes, my father was a younger brother to the late Sultan Abubakar. So actually he was the father who brought me up. My father telling me that one day he was just sitting down. Logari ya shigo daki. Ya ce ina malami.
So he was asking about
He
you.
was asking about me. Ga yana ya ce Sultan ya ce in tafi da shi palace yanzu nan. So I was marched to the palace by Dogari. Ina zuwa Sultan Abubakar ce a je a kai shi makaranta.
So he directed that you should go
I should go to the elementary school. And since that day, he took over responsibility for all my affairs, without any exception.
It appeared you went to many schools, not only Sokoto, you went to Kano, Katsina, Bidda. Why all those changes?
We started with Sokoto Middle School. But then later on, Sokoto was not upgraded to middle school. Well, it was a middle school, but they then called it provincial secondary school.
Right.
Sokoto was not so upgraded. Kano was upgraded. So the whole of my class, Alhaji, and so many of us, were transferred to Kano, where it was upgraded. While in Kano for 1 year, the authorities thought there are too many distractions in Kano. So they decided to move us to Katsina. It was, of course, when I was in Kano, I met late Emir, Ado Bayero, all of them. That's how we became friends at the particular time. Then, after that 1 year, I was transferred to Katsina, provincial secondary school. And that's where I met General Buhari and Eradua. They are my schoolmates.
Were you their senior, I think?
I was a senior to them.
Yes.
I was sent from the top. So from Katsina, I was moved on to Bida. Very interesting story. It was time for summer holidays. Of course, all the school belongings were collected, all the books, so they could go away on short holiday. I decided to go to Kano from Katsina. Alhaji decided to follow me, to accompany me to Kano. We were together in Kano, we got back. When we got back, we were told that we had committed very serious offense. We shouldn't have gone out of Katsina at all. The holiday was meant to be spent in Katsina, not anywhere else. So we were called in by the school authorities. You broke the rule. I said, which rule? Everything belonging to the school was collected from me. I felt, I just Shehu Malami going on holiday. Said, no, I shouldn't have gone there. So he collected an offense. So I said, no, I don't agree. But Alhaji, who accompanied me to Kano, felt threatened by one thing or another. He felt rather insecure. So he wanted to apologize to the principal and all this. I refused to apologize. I have not committed any offense. So the good administration at the time, it was a case between myself, Alhaji, Provincial Secondary School, Katsina, and of course, it got also the Sokoto, local authority or education authority, as you call them. It was thought the best would be to remove me from Katsina to somewhere else. That's how it was decided to send me to Bida. It was an administrative decision. This young man said she committed an offense. She accepted his offense. This other one, the same class, everything, said no, he had not committed any offense. And indeed, I did not commit. We should have been told that this holiday should be spent in Katsina, not anywhere else. But nobody told us in advance. So it was decided the best thing would be to send me to Katsina Provincial Secondary School. That's why I met General Buhari and other Garba Duba and all of them. So I was in Katsina for
Bida.
I was in Bida.
Right.
Then it was time for exams, West African School Certificate. The documents were to come from Lagos to the Provincial Secondary School Bida for us to fill in, and the principal, whoever it was, to sign the document and return them to Lagos. It was on a Friday. I was expecting the last mail. I was in school, of course, on Friday. Everybody was there. Then we broke for the mosque. We went away for the afternoon. After we left the school, the mail arrived from Lagos. They are looking for everybody to fill in. I was not in the school. I was not in the compound. So they all filled in. And I was nowhere to be found. So when I came back later in the evening, they said I had committed an offense. I should stay for another week to wait for another mail to come in from Lagos. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I could have stayed overnight, stay over one night, 2-3 nights, but not to wait until the mail comes back next week. So I just collected everything belonging to the school, left it there, and then I went to Kaduna, to Sokoto. So that's how I left Bida.
You couldn't finish the school in Bida.
I couldn't finish in Bida.
But many people will think that maybe this rebellious streak is because you are privileged, because the next thing is that you went to England to study.
That's very interesting because, when I was sent to school on the instruction of Sultan Abubakar, the man in charge of education was Ahmadu Bello, Sultan of Sokoto.
He was a counselor for education.
Exactly. So he kept an eye on me deliberately or by accident. He saw I was doing very well. So all these crises started about staying in Bida or everywhere. Sultan Abubakar said no. He has been doing very well. Ahmadu Bello said yes. Let's get him out. So that was decided to send me out of Nigeria.
To England.
What is interesting was that Sultan Abubakar gave me a check on his bank account, Standard Chartered Bank. It was called Bank of British West Africa in Katsina, in Kaduna. That was in Zaria at the time.
Yes.
Zaria was the headquarters for the BBWA. I went there with a check to collect money. The European man said, no, this is a younger boy. I will not give him so much money. It was a check for £400. Plenty, a lot of money at the time, but it was millions and millions. So he refused to give me the money. He said I was too young. So what I did was to go to the Ian Zazzau, Aminu. Aminu was not then the emir of Zaria yet. But whenever there's opportunity, there used to be this horse racing. And Sergeant Kudu Machido, he was district head of of Mafara before he became Sultan. He used to take me along to Zaria. That's how I got to know Zazo. We stay, in fact, in his house in Tudunwada. So when I had problem about getting the money from the bank, I went to the Zazo. I said, look, Oga, please, I need this money to take it to Ahmad Bello. He said, so you are the one who accompanied me to see the manager of BBWA, who released the money to me, £400.
400. What was the money for? What were you to use the money for?
When I took it to Ahmad Bello, he was the one who organized all the school. My flight to the UK, school fees, all out of that £400. Everything was paid out of that.
Tell us about your years in England. How long did you stay? And what kind of schooling, what kind of experience did you have?
I was in school, what they call North Devon Technical College. That's why I started. And I was doing very well also in the school. And then I decided the best thing, I should go to a better school. So I was sent to South End on Sea Municipal College, so not far away from London. So I was there. That's where, when I was in there, I registered with Middle Temple. Together with my friend at the time from Ghana. He was then the High Commissioner from Ghana. Kwashi Ama was his name. We used to get there for lectures, etc.
He was a student then?
He was a student, like me. So what happened was, at the end of the year, it was coming up towards the end of the year, for all the exams to be taken. But even if you took the exam, you must finish the dinners. Dinner was part of the qualification. You could do well in school, but a specific number of dinners that you go for, you could meet other colleagues, etc. I didn't go, it was coming just before the holidays. I came to Nigeria with the intention of going back, but I got involved in local politics here in Nigeria, because I was the one who informed the Northern People's Congress in England. That was NCNC and AG. So I was one of those with the Omar Diko and the others.
Part of the student movement then.
That's right. So I was part of it. I came to Nigeria. Unfortunately, I was not there to complete the dinners. So I came back and I said I wanted to go into politics. But they said, no, you are too young to go into politics. And in fact, the one that I wanted to be a member of was House of Representatives, not Northern People's Congress. So everybody said, no, let him start with local politics. I refused. So Ahmad Bello was very annoyed. Like, he wanted me to do so. I didn't do it. So in fact, what she did then was to ask Gerardo Idris to take me for interview to Abubakar Imam. He was the chairman of the what do you call it?
Public Service Commission.
Public Service Commission. They interviewed me. Gerardo took me to them. They interviewed me. They said I was all right. But when I came up to Ahmad, I said, no, I'm not interested in going to civil service. So I went on my own S2. So that's at the end of my career in the service. But Ahmad Joda was always insisting that I must go and join the civil service. In fact, I was very good at writing. I was interested in journalism. From my school days in Katsina earlier, later, Bakontagwari Sani. What was his name?
Sani Kontagora?
Sani Kontagora. He made me extremely interested in writing. And
was he a teacher
also,
or he was a fellow student?
He was in charge of Katsina at the time. So he wanted me to, he encouraged me to write. And I used to write quite often for the newspaper then, Nigerian Citizen. I used to write a lot.
Yeah.
He wanted me to be at one time. He wanted me to be the chairman or the director, editor. But that fell through.
Yeah.
So what I did was just continue, just as somebody roam me around.
Yeah.
And then one day, the last meeting of the Nigerian Parliament, a Sokoto member was going to Lagos. He died in a car accident near Funtua. So Ahmad Bello said, all right, this is your time now. You can try. So you'll contest for election for this. Well, of course, no politics. I mean, military had taken over. But that I could not go into civil service. The civil service was no longer there. I was not interested. So what happened was, I was chairman of what they call the hospitality committee of the student movement
In the UK.
in the UK.
Yes.
So the idea was anybody coming from the UK, if he was important enough, we could organize lunch, meet him, or some visitors from Nigeria, like Serkin Daura and others coming, would organize to meet them, just to keep in touch with what's happening at home. One of the people that was our member was somebody from PZ Industries. His uncle was the chairman of PZ. We became very great friends. But then later on, unfortunately, the uncle died. The young man who was by then my friend, said, well, okay, you want to go into politics. No politics, we said, come and join us in PZ. So that's how I joined.
Found yourself in business.
That's how I gravitated into the private sector.
Your years in England, do you think it changed your life? Did it change the way you see the world? Did you become like an Englishman who is from northern Nigeria in a way?
No, what I did to me too was to open to opportunity to meet from people from all over the world. Because we are so many Nigerians. But we are all just Nigerians. I was not from Sokoto, I was not from Fulani, who congregated together. But the opportunity we had a very big student movement. And you made friends from all over the world. And that helped me a lot because anywhere I telephone, I would know somebody or write to him or write to me. That got me easy movement from one country to another, to Ghana, to Gambia. So that opened up so many opportunities for me to know people and to know the country.
You didn't change your lifestyle. You didn't pick up European habits, so to say.
No.
Yeah. Now, at what point did you become the private secretary of the Sultan Abubakar? Because there was that brief stint in your own career.
During the independence celebrations, Sultan of Sokoto has so many PAs, personal assistants.
Okay.
But there are so many areas that need attention. So this one would be assigned to assignment, another would be. Then he was left, there was no standing private secretary or personal assistant. So I was acting, for that period, I was acting as his private secretary, personal assistant.
This is 1960.
Yes, Lagos.
Yes, for the independence.
For the independence. If I was with him at the race course, one British flag was lowered and the Nigerian flag went up. I was there with him at race course with the Sultan of Sokoto.
How long did you remain his PA or private secretary?
Well, 6 months or so.
Okay, not a long
One
period.
thing is, one thing went back to normal.
Yes.
After the people came back.
Can you tell us a little more about him? We've heard stories about Sultan Abubakar. He's your uncle, you worked with him. What kind of person was he? How is he different, say, from the Sardauna, whose image is much larger?
It's interesting. I found a piece where General Gowon
Mm.
When General Gawan took over, it became nearer to Sultan Abubakar, because remember, at the time, things were always directed through the DOs and the residents and traditional rulers. So General Gawan and Abubakar became great friends. I will find one of these papers where Gawan, like he sat down specifically to study Sultan Abubakar. He wrote a lot about Sultan Abubakar. While straightforward man, no nonsense man, to the extent that he dismissed his own brother from Wurno. His brother was district at Wurno. But he tended to be not handling haraji properly.
The money. Yeah.
So Sultan Abubakar removed him, his own brother.
This is his junior brother.
The elder brother.
Elder brother.
Elder brother. He removed him and put me in there. And so whoever you are, there are rules and regulations. You must abide by the rules and regulations. If you don't,
but we hear a lot about his sense of humor, that he is a man with a great sense of humor, and there are stories about some of his jokes.
Yes, and also they said that they often say, if you see somebody always followed by small children, somebody say that that's a bit of a word from Allah the Great. Great Allah, he was showing to children that is a very good man. That's why children are followed wherever he was.
Children followed him.
Children followed wherever he was. He was always followed by children. Father, I would drive them away. Say, no. Zo abokina zo na. He full of humanity. And they got him very well with General Gawan. They used to speak to each other on the telephone. Now, he's a great man. I learned a lot from him. Quiet, but effective. No nonsense man. And even some of the reports are really in the British press, or British libraries. The things they wrote about him.
Is there any incidents or any story you remember about him, or any of his famous jokes?
Not less that. So many of them. But he always tried. He would like to have an atmosphere of quietness and people not knowing where to go or what they are doing. He was always a man of direction. He was insisting that things must be done properly.
But is this thing between him and his waziri? Is that Waziri Junaidu?
No, that was Abbas.
Wazir Abbas.
He started with Abbas and
then Junaidu after. Yes. So it looks like they were always sort of joking with each other.
Always.
Yes.
It was
were they cousins?
The atmosphere in Nigeria, no tension like we are having now.
In those days.
They will sit down, all the council will sit down, and when you go there, you think they are small children, quarreling with each other or laughing about each other. He was very good at bringing atmosphere down. Whenever there's any possibility, he would enter and make things easier. He was for that.
Yes. So you became, instead of politics, you became a businessman through this PZ opportunity. But it appears, and the record is there, you are associated with many industries in Sokoto, in Kano, even in Asaba, where you set up furniture. But what is your experience in business? Because it looks like in Nigeria, businesses don't last, don't survive. And the same thing about the ones you set up.
Going into industries, it was John Gawan's time. Ahmed Joda was Permanent Secretary Education. They put me on the board of University of Nigeria in Nsukka. And then Iransi, through General Hassan Katsina, put me on the board of Nigerian Industrial Development Bank, which was partly owned by IFC. I was there for 9 years. Ahmed Kumasi was my chairman. So I learned a lot about how to establish
businesses.
Industries. So that's how I got involved through the Nigerian Industrial Development Bank, where I was with Ahmed Kumashi for 9 years. I learned a lot. Again, one of the very important people that we should wish to remember all the time.
Ahmed Kumasi.
Yes. Ahmed Kumasi, Ahmed Talib, Yahya Gusau. Straightforward people that would direct you to do the right thing. And they would not tolerate any nonsense. They are great people.
So how was your experience setting up all this Wurno bottling company, tannery in Sokoto? Why didn't they succeed?
At the time, everybody wanted to establish something. Ahmed Jordan and myself, Aminu Kano, Aminu Dantata, who established Kano. With Philip Asiodu, went to Asaba and establish something. There was feeling at the time that you must establish something. Identify yourself with something that you could be proud of. There was that feeling at the time. Unfortunately, since then, things have deteriorated. But you must, whatever you are doing, try to show you are doing something for the country. And we accepted it as a dogma. And we just wanted to do that. We didn't care wherever the opportunity was. We followed it.
What happened with your experience in Sokoto, this bottling company, you are doing soft drinks, and...
it collapsed.
Yes.
As the economy went down, it collapsed. But I established the brick industry and, that was feeling, you must do something, you must do something. And especially my experience at the Industrial Development Bank, they gave me a push. Wherever I need anything, I'll come and ask you, can I so? Could I could I? Then we established my own boreholes.
One other notable thing about your career in business is that you are chairman or director of banks, Union Bank. You are part of the set of Eco Bank.
That's right. And I was on the board of Costain together with Sir Odumegu Ojukwu.
Costain West Africa. Were these appointments because you have links in government, or is out of the fact that you have really shareholding that?
Well, as I said, from the UK, when I was chairman of the committee, anybody of importance coming to Nigeria, we move them, and people coming from Nigeria to the UK would try to meet them, entertain them, and make them feel at home. That was the atmosphere within which we were working, and we were always in touch. Later, Aliyu Maisango from Jamahari. It was like a clique. Sit down, let's see what we could do. And each one of us established something, for which unfortunately, things collapsed later.
But did you make a lot of money? These are all banks, industry. Did you make a lot of money as a businessman in that?
We made money. I was very surprised. I was showing to my children only last week. A small booklet where I put the investment that I made, small amount of money. But the returns were very, very, they are very valuable returns. Small amount of money will go so far away. So if you get about 5 or 6 dividends, this was enough for you to bring my Joda, bring Amin Dantata, bring all of you. There's feeling that you must do something. Show that you could establish something that people could be proud of. Otherwise, why should I go to Asaba? Only because Philip Asiodu was also associated with me. He wanted to come with us. Amin Dantata in Kano, he want to come with us to join together. So that this feeling of, well, there's only one country. We must all work together.
So you
And
set
make
up
it-
this
make-
industry in Asaba, a furniture factory.
Furniture factory.
In Asaba.
The leader, Ahmed Jola, Philip Asiodu, etc. And it's different. People wanted to establish something. I established that. That is mine. I established it. Go and see. There's this feeling of do something, not just try to get something out of the country.
What has happened to the country now? Why do you think that spirit has been lost, more or less?
Because I don't know what I said. The prices of world commodities, the prices have gone down, or perhaps we become too ambitious. Instead of having a small company producing 20 cartons, you say, once you make it 100 cartons. That was that determination. But of course, sometimes you fail, or you get a little bit disturbed, and you just abandon the thing.
One of the highlights of your career was your appointment by General Abacha as ambassador in South Africa. South Africa was then just newly liberated or independent.
Yes.
How did that happen? I mean, you're a businessman. Nobody would normally associate you with diplomacy, but here you were, the first ambassador in South Africa.
Yes, I used to be a member of the World Economic Forum, which I now understand is having a meeting in Davos.
Yes.
Through connections, the way Shehu Shagari was visiting India
As president?
as president.
Right.
I was one of those who accompanied him. On our return, I remember in Zurich, I saw a big list of conferences going on. They mentioned Davos. So I called Yahya Kwande. He was the ambassador in
Switzerland.
Switzerland. How can I? Because I said, no, please come and make you a member tomorrow. So then I became a member of the World Economic Forum. And through that, I had the opportunity to meet world leaders. Because even world leaders that could not be there, they addressed Davos through the telephone and through modern technology. So then I became a member of World Economic Forum. And from there, your name is spread through all those that are attending. You get invited, like you are invited to go to this country by the head of state. You go there, next time you meet at another conference. You meet the head of state. That's how I became friends. Even now, I get a lot of letters from them, the people that I used to know in those days. You know, the challenges everywhere. Do something. What are you trying to do? How do you announce yourself? Who are you? What have you done? Unfortunately,
So were you surprised when Abacha then called you to make you ambassador, or you had a long-standing relation with him?
I had known him for some time. And when I first met President Mandela, I informed Sani Abacha. He said, no. When he was going to South Africa, he would take me along with him. So I went with him to South Africa. Then he saw how much I was accepted.
Yes,
That's how he made me ambassador to the Republic of South Africa.
yeah. So how was your tenure? Then South Africa was newly independent.
Very challenging.
Yes.
It was tough. It was rough. Because everybody, they say that's improvement now, but at the time, everybody was armed. You look in somebody's pocket or in the mosque.
Yes.
They're praying, and then you see guns everywhere. Because there are so many warring countries around South Africa. Everybody had a gun. And in fact, to the extent that the one in charge of security in South Africa told us, don't travel unless you have to. And then the Minister of Security himself showed you how dangerous it was. But all the same, when I was always wearing Nigerian dress. I was warned, don't always wear a Nigerian dress because they could easily be identified. This is the Nigerian High Commissioner. But I was day and night, there was a single occasion that I abandoned my Nigerian dress. Every time I was driving. So once they met, Mandela and Sani Abacha, once they met, they said, no, he's going to be my Nigerian High Commissioner. He's not going there.
But relationship between Abacha and Mandela went sour, especially over Kansera Wiwa. How did you mediate that conflict?
It was because, see, Sora Wiwa, when there was this South Africa, no, there was this Commonwealth Conference
Commonwealth.
in Australia.
Yes.
So the former Minister of State, Vice Minister before Habibu got in, that was he's from Bendel, he was Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Is it the architect?
The architect.
Yes.
Yes. There was a conference in Australia. Sani Abacha sent a note for agreement for me to go to South Africa as High Commissioner. But then, in the conference in South Africa, in Australia, news leaked out that they are going to hang the Sarawiwas. So Mandela tried to release Sani Abacha to say, please, don't touch these people. Let's go over it again. He got so worried because Alhaji, the High Commissioner in London, was also in Australia. He asked him to see if he could get Sani Abacha on the telephone. And then he tried all he could to get Sani Abacha, because Sani Abacha wasn't friendly with telephone. The telephone would ring and he just ignored it. And then he was able to get through to me to tell Sani Abacha, is Mandela, oh, I didn't realize you are great friends with him. So you are the one to go and be my High Commissioner in South Africa.
But how was their relationship? Because that episode, that incident, seemed to have kind of affected relationship between Sani Abacha and Mandela in particular, and South Africa and Nigeria.
Mandela never believed in capital punishment. He never believed in capital punishment. So when you are talking about hanging Sarowiwa, Mandela said the Nigerians were barbarians
for doing that.
And then Sani Abacha was saying, those who are criticizing us, look at their records, what's happening in their country. They are terrible people. So when he called us barbarians, Sani Abacha said, who do you think of Mandela? Mandela was in prison for 20-something years. How do you expect him to behave properly after being in prison for 20-something years? So that's triggered off, rather, instead of each one of them keep him quiet. Take it easy, getting the opportunity to repair things. The all went public. Nigerians were barbarians. And the other said, no, if they are barbarians, How about the one who was in prison for 27 years?
So how did you manage? How did you manage to relate with Mandela as a South African, as our ambassador?
Because luckily, even before I became the High Commissioner, I got to know Mandela through conferences in Davos. That's why I first met him in Davos. So we became friends even before Sani Abacha got to know my relationship with him.
What kind of man was he? I mean, he's a legend, but in your relation with him, what kind of man did you find
With
he was?
Mandela, first class man, great friend of Nigeria. Yeah, he was.
Even though he called us barbarians?
Yeah, because when I want to present my credentials, he gave me about three months before he could see me to present my credentials. But the day I presented credentials, he said, "You should remember, you Africa, you Nigerians, you are our leaders. But you should remember, if you do anything wrong, we'll tell the world you have done wrong and we'll condemn you." So he was always straightforward. He would eventually send me at one time with Gambari, Karoma Ali, and others, when they knew that I was a minister of our African heads of state in South Africa. He sent us to go and meet them, tell them better things about Nigeria than what they had been reading about. You know, most of them are committed to Nigeria. In fact, Kaba Mbeki was telling me later that he was always calling Nigeria his own country. Mandela was returning to Nigeria as his own country. And after I presented my credentials, he became really Nigeria's ambassador at large. But before then, he was condemning Nigeria left, right, and center. Now he's a great man, very patient, friendly, family man, and Jabarka. So I find it very rewarding.
After your ambassadorship, you still are a businessman. You're still active in the economy. The last thing I heard, at least, is that you are also the chair of the Abuja Electric Distribution Company.
Yes. I'm glad you
People will find it surprising you are still in your 80s. You are still active in.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned it because I have every intention of getting you to give you all the dishonest things that they did to seek to take away the distribution company from me.
You are in conflict with them.
With a lot. So I've got some documents which I would like. When you have time, I sit down and brief you. In fact, I was saying, unless this time I'm intending to call for a press conference. I reveal all the behavior of everybody who took part in it.
But what is the story? You brought them to Nigeria. They are South African or Zambian?
They are Zambian.
They are Zambians, yes.
Well, we invited them to come. When they came, instead of discussing the financial aspect of it with us, they went on their own alone to Elumelu, to UBA. And all they do is just send me a note to say, this is the decision of the board. You have to accept this within 24 hours or the project is off.
Were you the chair of the board?
I was, yes.
You were the first chair?
I established the whole company.
Yes.
So what happened was they went and discussed with their financiers. They didn't discuss with us. And somewhere without knowledge of Elumelu, somebody said,
chairman of UBA.
You must sign the agreement within 24 hours and pay so. Otherwise, the deal is off. But Elumelu himself said, no, there was no such conditionality. But it was because of that nationality that they took that letter from our so-called UBA and took it to Corporate Affairs Commission and registered 75% shares for themselves, for them, the foreigners. And when we discovered this, we took up the matter with the authorities. And they allowed them to go register everything and took all the documents and sold out that the company, in Nigerian company, was their own company. So there was no way we could raise our own money to counter the small amount they brought from outside.
So they bought you out. They more or less took over the company.
That's right.
Is the matter in court?
We go from one court. What was that way? I asked for a fiat to prosecute them from the very beginning. On 3 occasions, the Minister of Justice, so avoiding us or whatever it is, we could not catch him. So his department sent our documents to the Director of Public Prosecution. And we were dealing with Director of Public Prosecution. They took it away from there, gave it to EFCC. They never gave them enough time to study the issue for them to give a report and recommend something. Somebody jumped away, then you hear former head of state coming in, Abdul Salam, and Ibrahim Aliyu, and all the others. In fact, still the matter is still there in court.
Still in court.
Yes.
So are you still engaged in other businesses? Is this something you enjoy doing still in your retirement?
I'm retired. I have no business to do. I'm not in any business.
What about other activities? You are a prince of the caliphate.
Yes.
You are close to being sultan.
Yes, very.
A couple of times.
Very, very.
Is it still an ambition you have to?
I never paid God to make me sultan. Never, ever. Never, at any minute. I never prayed to Allah to make me sultan.
Why?
I always believe that I always prayed to Allah to give what was the best thing for me. And He has. I'm completely satisfied with what Allah has done for me. I'm not complaining to anybody. But I never begged Allah to make me sultan at any material time.
If you have become the sultan, will you have been happy, even though you don't pray for it? Will it have been something that you find fulfilling?
I don't know that. There may be so many ways to be fulfilling. If you have the opportunity, it depends on the opportunity. You may be the sultan, but you may not have the opportunity to make it known and accepted and, everlasting. The appointment is nothing. It depends on who is there, who makes it important, not the title itself.
What do you make of what is happening in Nigeria now?
It's a disaster, to say the least. Terrible disaster. You don't even know if you want to repair something. Well, it's like a broken car. If something is wrong with it, you can go for the engine or for the tires, find out what is wrong with it. But in Nigeria, how do you identify what is wrong now? How can you repair the damage? That is the basic question now. Where we are, how did we come about it? How do we go back, if possible, to go back to those times that we can say things are manageable?
You don't have any ideas about how we can fix this problem from your long experience, from the civil, from the independence. You don't have any thoughts or any ideas. How do we fix this issue?
If I had very good ideas, I would sell them to you. Nobody knows how. Well, how do we start? From where? Who do you blame?
You don't think anybody is to blame?
All of us are to blame. All of us are to blame. Because these things were going slowly by slowly. We just ignored them. They've gone out of hand.
In your younger days, you travel all over the world.
Yes.
Do you have any particular countries that are your favorites that you enjoyed visiting?
Yes, one or two of them. I find Saudi Arabia not believable, but the people are different. But for the fact we are Muslims, they would have treated us differently. I will not live in Saudi Arabia for anything.
You did like visiting Saudi Arabia?
No, I will never live in Saudi Arabia.
But you had to go because of religious.
I had to go of the religion. Otherwise, I have nothing to do with it.
Where did you enjoy traveling to? Well, which places do you really enjoy it, staying?
Well, I have so many friends. I have so many friends in Tunisia.
Tunisia.
It's a beautiful country. I have so many friends there. I have so many friends in Cairo, in Egypt.
Egypt.
Because I have properties in Egypt. No, I don't think. No, quite a number of them. I would love to, but
Do you travel anymore? What of England, where you spent your youthful days? I believe you used to have a house in England.
I hardly go. All my children finished with London, everything. They've gone. I have no more children, no grandchildren in England. They're all qualified. They all look after themselves. And that's what I always was hoping for, to be able to do. And all of them, I paid every single kobo. There was not a kobo of the government in educating any of my children.
Tell us more about your family. Is it big? Or are you
manageable? Like you are very manageable. I have 7 children. They're all, not complain about them. They all had very, very many degrees. So they are, Egyptian qualification, Egyptian University in Cairo, Egyptian University in Paris, Egyptian University, so. French, in England. I have 7 children. They're all, thank God, they're all grown up.
How is, now that you are retired, you are 83, I believe?
86.
86. So what do you do? I mean, how is your typical day like?
Very, very, very busy. Like you are busy, keeping me busy now.
Yes.
No, I wake up gently. 8, 9. Wake up in the morning, say your prayers. Just take it easy. And don't allow engagement until after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But otherwise, I'm happy.
What do you do to keep your hours beside family?
Well, I do a lot of reading. And do some of the daily newspapers. They keep me busy also. I would like to know what is happening. This leg, I had surgery on this one and that one.
On the leg?
There was a conference under Gaddafi. I went there, which I was leaving the hotel to go into the car. The steps were slippery. I fell down, broke this, and this was done in Germany. This one is there. So what impressed me was with the time. Immediately I fell down. The hotel called.
When was this?
20.
Under Gaddafi?
Under Gaddafi. They called the hotel manager. Hotel manager came. He called the hotel. What do you call him? You called him the doctor and then the ambulance. And they took me to the hospital. Within 1 hour, I would know exactly what was wrong. I had to decide where I was going to have this surgery. I had to go to Germany, so I went to Germany for that. But the speed with which thing was done was extremely impressive. But this has been all right. But now I have some problem here, and the doctor told me I should not worry. I'm 86, that's all they was worrying me. I thank my God. I should thank him. This one, I've never had any problem all these years. But this one now, from here to there, just some pain sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Kema, so
Yes.
when she's a sugar,
Yes.
Koya Farama already.
Thank you very much, sir.
But you look well,
Thank you, sir.
in
Thank
spite
you.
of all the
Thank you.
wahala.
Thank you.
Kowa a Nigeria, kowa akwai abin da ya dame shi.
It's clear. It's true.
Sai mu gode wa Allah kawai.
It's true. And we really wish you long life and happiness and more years of service to the country.
Thank you very much.
And viewers, I'd like to also thank you for joining us in this episode of Reminiscences with Alhaji Shehu Malami, who has lived a very long and rich life and is still pretty much active as you saw. So until we meet in another edition, thank you and goodbye.